I want to talk about the Mandela effect and the Mandela effect. I think I'll call this the Mandela effect made easy. Okay, I can't make notes, so it's going to be a jumbled mess. I can't because I can't read. If I make notes, I can't read. I only got about 5% vision left, so I can't help it. So, anyways, the Mandela effect. What is the Mandela effect? It's when we have a change in our reality. We have a change in our reality, and I noticed it with there's there's small Mandelas and there are large Mandelas. Large Mandelas are usually known as reality shifts. So it all starts with Rod Sterling of the Twilight Zone. The Rod Sterling of the Twilight Zone. I grew up with. I was watching the Twilight Zone first run issues, and I was devoted. My childhood was the Twilight Zone. I lived for that show. And it was Rod Sterling's Twilight Zone. He's the one who created it, and so. I have a DVD and it's got all the episodes, and I've always watched the episodes and I wait for the credits to come down, written by Rod Sterling, because I wanted to know his mind, get into his head. That's written by Rod Sterling, cool. So one day I heard about this, maybe that was a key to the change. It's just simply hearing about the Mandela effect. So I read all this stuff about how Sterling is no longer historical. It's Serling. It's Rod Serling. And I went, oh, come on. Yes, I'll put an end to this one. Because everybody's saying it's not Rod Sterling. We made it up or somehow got confused. I got confused over the decades. And I thought, I'll just put an end to this. I'll go and, as I say, wait for the end of the show, written by Rod Serling or Surly. It's just without the T, eh? And I went, what? I couldn't believe it. I was stunned. I was just like, what? Then I got on the internet and I started perusing through people's comments and stuff. I absolutely swear on a stack of Bibles it was always Sterling. But then these people were just as convinced it was Sterling. I talked to guys that grew up on it too. And they're saying, no, it never was Sterling. So Sterling doesn't exist. I went to his gravesite, and the tombstone said Sterling. Sterling is gone now. There's been a reality shift. It's gone. And then I went to the Walk of Fame, and I looked at his name on the star, and it was Sterling. And I'm just going, what? But now I understand, now that I understand how the whole thing works, the fact is, if I got on a plane and I had money, honey, because I won the lottery. And I got bored one day, so I take a plane and I go and meet the family. I go, well, how do you do, Mrs. Sterling? I can tell you, she would give me a look like, what you talk about, man? And I would explain, oh, you're Sterling. We are the Serling family, or Searling family, or however you pronounce it. I don't know. And this is what's happened. Now, the past disappears. Sterling is no longer in effect. So let's say I had a poster. Somebody gave me a poster. Twilight Zone by Rod Sterling, and I rolled that up and I kept it in the closet for 10 years, and then I get in an argument with friends and they're saying, no, it's Sterling, wake up. And then I say, that's it, And I get the poster out and I pull it out and I show them and they're laughing their heads off. They would laugh their heads off because it would read Twilight Zone, Rod Serling. Everything changed, photographs change, documents change, everything. But sometimes there's a little bit that's left behind that hasn't been changed or altered. And some of us remember. I remember the old, it's a multi-universe. Each world is the same but different. And so there's things that are constant in every world. There's a God. There's dualism. There's religion or whatever. But little things get changed a lot, and you can learn more about that by look up the game Bioshock, Bioshock Infinite Ending. And you'll have the character Elizabeth explain to you these reality shifts. Very powerful. But it's all about constants and variables. So the variables end up becoming Mandela effect. Here's another variable. Because we're every day, I know from my observations and experiences and everything, don't even argue, that we slip into alternative realities every minute of the day. I take this pen, I put it down. I know I'm putting it down on the pad here. And then I go, oh, I got to make a note. It's gone. You know, you've shifted into a different dimension, different reality. It's multiverse theory. And so let's get back to the variables. Variables. That was a tough one. Ooh, alphabet soup. So there was McDonald's. I grew up every day after school. Us guys would go to McDonald's. And now it's McDonald's. It's like, what? And I asked everybody I knew, do you remember when McDonald's was McDonald's? And they didn't change the name. People contacted the company. They didn't change their name. It was always McDonald's. But I remember McDonald's. Do you get it, man? There's some of us, we remember the past Earth, and then when we move into a new reality, a new Earth, a parallel universe, we remember, and I remember, and it was McDonald's. So if it never was McDonald's, I went to the internet and I looked up the grand opening of Donald's there, and it was McDonald's. It was McDonald's. You're just kind of stupid. You just don't get it, man. That you're probably confused because they have scientific discoveries about how confused mankind can become at times. I just want to slap these people. It was always McDonald's, so I then I came across nothing. I couldn't prove it was ever McDonald's from the internet. And I was talking to a friend of mine, and I said, well, hey, do you remember McDonald's? And she says, yeah, McDonald's. Yeah, that's right. That's right. It's not McDonald's. And welcome to the magical mystery tour. It's time to take you away. Take you away. Take you today. And so I was relieved. I was like, wow, somebody remembers the old ways. Yeah. And if it's McDonald's, how come you can buy a Big Mac? Because Big Mac was the signature hamburger of McDonald's. Big Mac, McDonald's. Big Mac from McDonald's. McDonald's signature dish was the Big Mac. Why isn't it called the Big Mick? Ah, no, you're just a lunatic, and I think you're on drugs, and you should see your doctor so he can give you medication and make lots of money for his free Hawaiian vacation. I just can't. I can't get over that because I remember, and my friend used to buy a Coke. Coke. What's the time on this? Oh, it's 20 minutes already. It's a big long intro about my eyes. Used to buy a Coke every day, and I remember Coke. It said Coca-Cola. Now the hyphen is above the word. That's not English. That's not English. When do you put a hyphen above the words? Now some smart guy's going to go, oh, no, I went to university. In some circumstances, you can put the hyphen. Shut up. So anyways, it's up above. And I thought, well, I'll put the rest of that because I got old Coke bottles that I collected, the originals. And I thought, I'll put an end to that. And I just got my antique bottles out and I went, what? What? The hyphen's not in the middle. It's up above. My bottles were altered. Time and space was altered. And I know time and space was altered because my bottles are like they were recreated or something. It's just terrible. And I remember the very first Beatle album the Beatle album, Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, was the very first album I ever bought, and I played that and sang that over and over again until it was practically getting little holes worn out that I could see sunlight through. I played and played and played, and one of the songs is with a little help from my friend, and it starts out, what would you do if I sang out a tune? Would you stand up and walk out on me? What would you do if I sang out a tune? It rhymes and it fits and it's perfect. But now you go to the internet and it's, what would you think if I sang out? It wasn't what you think. It never was what you think. And it's been altered and it's changed. And time and space has been altered. It's a reality shift. And then there's a song, we are the champions. And then it stops at the end. And then it kicks in with, of the world. And so I've been to about 2 or 3 Queen concerts, and we'd all sit there like just, whoa, here it comes. We are the champions. And we'd all wait. Of the world. It's no longer on the song. It's no longer on the song. So how do you deal with that? I even saw Gwen Stefani. She's in a taxi. It's a sing-along taxi type setup where the guy puts in a song and then they all sing it together, and it was it was Queen, and she's singing along with Queen, and she's going, we are the champions, and then she's getting ready, That was the end of the song. What did you do? Did you change the song or something, or shut it off? What's going on? And it's like, and then one Christmas, I'm sitting here and I'm listening to Bing Crosby, I'll be home for Christmas. You can count on me. Now it says you can plan on it. It doesn't even make sense. You can plan on it. What does that mean? You can count on me. And I listened to that and I went, what? Another one bites the dust. And another one, and I couldn't believe it. Now I'm hearing Beatles songs. I was a Beatle fanatic I watched them live on the Ed Sullivan Show, and I was just smitten there. Some of the songs, the voices are a little different. They sound different, not quite like the original. And I'd look up these songs on the internet, make sure it wasn't a remake or a cover or anything like that. Yeah, the original pressing, it sounds different. And there's a bit of a kind of a accent, a different kind of accent. And I'm going, these are alternative realities. And we slip into an alternative reality several times a day. And so they're alternative Earth realities. And there was a really good show. It was just a fantastic show. It was kind of, I don't know, kind of goofy too at the same time. But it's called Sliders. And they would go into their time machine and end up in alternative Earth realities. And so they ended up in Earth reality, and they were in New York, or something, I forget. And so they're going, oh, wow, this is the future. Wow. But the thing is, the National Socialists had won the war, and there was Nazi flags all over the place, or National Socialist flags all over the place. So I was thinking, this is what you kind of see today now with reality shifts. They're Mandela effects on steroids. Okay, so but they always knew when if they got back to their original Earth reality, they would come through the fence gate, and the fence gate would always squeak. Then they'd know, we're back. But then the odd time, it wouldn't squeak. So they knew they were still trapped in a alternate Earth reality. And that's what it is. I've seen these Earth realities. You just have to know what to look for. Changes, like I say, I take a pen. I go, okay, I'll put this on my pad so I can write notes. Then I go there and it's gone. Then I know I've shifted into another Earth reality. Because I know, no, you're stupid, man. You just got confused, and you're just drinking too much coffee, and it just muddles up your head. You know? No, I know for a fact I put it down there. Don't give me this garbage. You know, like, no, you don't understand. So we're dealing with multi-universes. So again, look up Bioshock Infinite, the ending. And the character Elizabeth, what am I, a sea hybrid or something? A seal hybrid? Must be, I can't even say the word. So look that up, and you'll just be amazed at how well it will explain what we're going through. And, you know, things disappear, things vanish, and history rewrites itself. Because the thing is, let's say I have the power of intention. Woo, there's a vacant lot down there. It's been vacant for forever since I've lived here. Woo! And I send out my intention, and I put a big red house there, right? And then people are suddenly noticing, well, that house wasn't here yesterday. Those who remember the old, the original alternate reality, the last one, they remember it, and they'll go, where did that come from? But then you'll have people that say, oh, it's always been there. Ever since I lived here, it's been here. Their reality has, they've entered into the subject of downloaded memories, fake downloaded memories. It can't just appear and then have no history. It appears, all history is rewritten. Now you got a guy maybe that lives down the road that says, yeah, what are you talking about, empty lot? When I was a teen, I made my extra money building that house. I was a carpenter back then, and I made a lot of extra money. It's, and I was, what, 19? And that was how many years ago? And you'll find reports like this. I even found a report in a newspaper how a library changed. It was completely different. People just went, what? And there was one lady who was saying she goes to a certain bank. It's her favorite bank. She's been there forever and a day. Uh, and then what happened was she comes to the bank and it's all different. It's all different. And then she says, "Whoa, when did you guys," to the teller, "when did you guys renovate the everything?" Huh? What's wrong with you? What? Renovate? We didn't renovate. No, I've been working here 20 years and it's always been the same. And another one I thought was amazing, and I don't think these people are lying. I don't think they're lying. Um, but okay, I'll just make up a little skit here that was actually true. But you have like Jane and Mary, they're friends. They've been childhood friends forever and a day. How long is that forever and a day? I don't get it. So they bump into each other in, let's say, Walmart. Where else would you bump into somebody? And Jane goes, "Hey, Mary, how you doing? I haven't seen you in a while." Yeah, 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 yeah. But then Mary's with, I don't know, a woman 25 years old, right? And then Jane says, "Oh, who's your friend?" And Mary goes, "What? Man, who's my friend?" "No, the girl there. What's your name?" "Oh, Donna." "Oh, that's a nice name." And then, "Well, who? That's my daughter." And then Jane freaks out because Jane says, "No, no, 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 no. That's not your daughter. Because years ago you took a test. You were trying to have a baby with Hank. Remember? And then you were found to be sterile. You had tests. You were sterile, and this is about what, 30 years ago. Older than the the daughter, eh? No, what are you talking about? I've had people tell me things that I know happened, and then they look at me. That never happened. What's going on? I've had personal experiences like that, and they don't know what you're talking about, and it's very, very creepy. Oh, like let's say you have a big fight with your girlfriend, and you go buy her roses the next day, and this is, I just want to say sorry for last night, blah blah blah. What are you talking about? Well, we had a big argument. No, we didn't. And so it turns out that Mary has a kid, and it's just this. And then everything's changed. Everything's changed. Then Jane goes home, and she's looking through, because she remembers everything, and she's looking through her pictures, trying to see if anything's wrong. And she sees a picture of her, Jane, but in this picture, it now suddenly has Jane, or no, Mary, in Jane's picture. There's Mary, and they're together and they're smiling, but Mary's holding a baby. What? This is how it works. There was one guy was saying that I got really tanked. I went to the bar and I drank and drank. I came home and I crashed on the bed, and he didn't get in or anything. He just crashed in the bed, and then he woke up the next morning. He's got a ring on his finger, and there's a woman next to him. And he goes, "Who are you?" And she goes, "Don't you know me? We've been married for 20 years." And then he finds out that he's married and he has kids in the other room that are asleep. Total reality shift. There's some really intense reality shifts that I found on the internet. Wow, it's just really intense. One woman was shot through time into the future, and everything was different, and all the memories were different, and so, anyways, that's a complex story, but I think she went back, or no, she stayed. That's what surprised me. She stayed in the future. She didn't want to go back. So, anyways, you have alternative memory. So, like I say, you can't have something appear and have it observed by not millions of people, tens of people that live in your neighborhood. I mean, I don't live in China. So they're going to have false implanted memories. Now, this is what you need to do. And please do me a favor. You must. Remember, when you're poor, you got to do what you got to do. Watch the film Dark City, and you'll see how important memories are. And in the film, they used to, it's not really a spoiler, but at midnight, everybody be, hey, did you hear the joke about all the trains and cars would stop? And they would come, and it's called tuning. You'd have an old shack with two couples in it, right? Just poor people. And they would tune it, and they would make it into a big mansion. And then the people would have different clothes on, and then they sit them in front of their soup at the end of a long, long table. They're now rich. They had a new life, a different identity, and everything. And then they wake up. So, dear, how's the stock market doing today? A different reality. Reality shifts, different worlds. Are they the creators of the alternative universes? Who knows? I don't know. So, but they wouldn't go, where am I? What is this? What's this suit I got on? Well, they wouldn't do that, because they would be implanted with false memories. You ever see Blade Runner, where the androids thought they were real because they had false memories? And then there's a movie called The Island. It's all about these two clones, and they have false memories of childhood and everything. She said something. She had a bike or something she could remember. And then Blade Runner, she knew she was real because there was pictures of her and her mother, and so false memories. It's very, 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 very easy. Hypnotists have hypnotized people as an experiment and said, okay, and they would lead them, Now, do you see the UFO landing? Yes, yes, yes. Bashar, yes, yes. So they would see the UFO landing, and they would be abducted and taken up into the sky, then shown Earth from way above. After they came out of the hypnotic regression or implantation of false memory, you couldn't convince them that they were hypnotized to see that. They felt it was absolutely 1000% real. It really happened, and they could never be talked out of it. They said, nope, I know, I was on a UFO and I was abducted. So false memories are who knows where we go spiritually at night, where our conscience goes. What's the time on this? Oh, I can't read. So I got to end this soon, no doubt. These were false implanted memories. You'll have a guy in a hypnotist act, and he'll be hypnotized. Now he's Elvis Presley. He's convinced he's Elvis Presley. Or in a really good book to read. Don't forget the name of it now. Holographic Universe. I forget his name. Holographic, written by, that's a really, really good book. So anyways, we are consciousness trapped in a holographic universe that goes through reprogramming, I guess you'd say. What causes these reality shifts? Maybe programming, and you'll see things like little things like a guy, a school kid, yeah, and this is a true story. I forget what the colors were, but bear with me. He always wanted a black car. He always saved up and got a black sports car. He took all his friends for rides in the black sport car. And then one morning, he gets up, he goes to his car, and it's a white car. A white car. Then he gets on the phone to his friends. What color is my car? Oh, it's white. Huh? No, it's black. No, you've always had a white car. You always said you wanted to get a white car, and we all been rides in the white car. And it's like, what? These are reality shifts. These are Mandela effects on steroids. Absolute on effects and stuff. Oh, and about that, what would you do if I sang out of tune? If you look it up on the internet, it's what would you think if I sang out of tune? But Joe Cocker, I get by with love from my friends. He is on there. The tape that he did at the slow down, drink less coffee. Woodstock. Oh, I miss those days. Woodstock. There's Joe Cocker, and there's a video clip on the internet. It's very easy to find with a little help from my friends, Joe Cocker, and he sings the original pre-shift version. What would you do if I sang out of tune? It still remains. And I found an old TV guide. I got a screenshot of it. An old TV guide that says Rod Sterling's Twilight Zone. And so I wasn't crazy. I wasn't crazy at all. So, but I know for a fact in this sick, demented, pathetic, torturous existence we're in, we got to figure out how we can collectively go through a wormhole and end up in an alternate universe, which is so much, much, much better. And there was a writer, a Gnostic writer. If you really want to go down the rabbit hole spiritually, study the original Christians' scriptures that survived the Great Burning. The Catholic Church was emerging, so original Christianity had to go. Okay, it had to go. And so all that they knew and the secrets of the universe and everything was in the Library of Alexandria. And they started, it's the devil's literature. The devil wrote all that stuff. And they burned it to the ground. And mankind lost incredible esoteric knowledge of the past. But there was the Christian Gnostic scripts, texts that they had written down. I think there's 55 books. There's 150 books. Got buried and was discovered in 1947, and it changed. It is literally now changing the world beyond anything. I mean, you want deep esoteric knowledge. You don't want little children's story about Jesus in the manger and how the cow was happy. No. You want to go down the rabbit hole? Like you've never been down the rabbit hole? Look up, I think, gnosis.org. You can find all the scriptures there. It's so heavy. But they always taught, and like many other traditions all over the world, religions too, that this earth is a simulation. This is not real. And so these reality shifts, are they new programs that are punched in? Because you'll see reality shifts all the time. In the internet, these Japanese girls, they were filming a bear at the zoo, and the bear you walk up to the female bear, and then it was like they reversed the film, exactly going backwards. Then people say, oh, he's just performing a mating ritual. Well, then you're an idiot. You know, because the bear would go exactly in reverse, like somebody reversed the tape. And you do this. Apparently, he did this for about 10 minutes, and that's what you get with glitches in the Matrix. This is what you'll get in a video game sometimes. There was one video game, I forget what it was a popular game, Red something. Anyways, you know, you're in the game, and all of a sudden there's a guy walking, not on the ground, he's walking in the sky. You know, and then there's one part of another game where you pull up to a certain fence of a parking lot, and you start going way up in the air, because when you program things, mistakes are made, and everything, the electromagnetics of this world spark once in a while, and can change programming. And I have personally, and I'm not going nuts, I have personally played games that had new level on it. And I'm going, I played this guy because I'm the guy that'll play a video game forever. I don't get rid of it and get a new one weekly. I play my old favorites over and over and over and over again. Well, I can't not lately, obviously. But, yeah, you'll see these major glitches. And that bear was a glitch. And then I captured a video of a bird coming up to a camera, house camera, coming up, and no big deal, pecking at the camera, no big deal, except his wings were folded in. I don't get it. Anyways, there's all kinds of weird films you can see. And a while ago, the last glitch I saw was a guy parked waiting for somebody, and all of a sudden I see a kid in a greenish coat, maybe about 10 years old, a boy, and he's running, and then he gets into the car. And then that car, this was a while ago, and then the car just remained there. I expected the guy, when he got his passenger, to take off. And then I'm going, wait a minute, there's no kid in the car. And then about 1 minute later, a 10-year-old kid in a greenish coat runs up to the car, gets in, and then he pulls out. One car, a lady got about 10 feet in front of it, 8 feet in front of it, vanished. I just went, because my eyes were good back then. And I just went, what? And then I look again, and she's in the car. Well, I don't know, it's pretty heavy. But you'll see this a lot. And you got to be observant. You got to understand where everything is. And I have to remember when I put a pen down, because it might not be there when I need it. Oh, you just misplaced it. You're so effing stupid. I ought to puke in your mouth. You know, really? You ever seen the 5-Finger Disappearance Act? You know, so that's the thing. I guess I should be ending this pretty soon. You got to be observant, and I had an album that I played quite a bit, and I'm very, very familiar with the disc, the CD, and it was Nazareth. Oh, good album. We got to get it together. You know, I'm trying to think of the name of there's played it. I'm very familiar with the songs. And then one day I go to play it, and there's 2 extra songs on it. One's called White Bicycle, I think. something like that. And the other one I forgot. I didn't prepare for this video. I just do them on the top of my head, so I didn't bother looking it up or anything. So, but there's two songs that were never, ever on that disc, ever. And I've never even heard of the songs. And yet there they were. Like, oh, you know. But Dark City at midnight, everybody got their memories altered. You know, like hey, let's go downtown. And then the archons, they were clearly archons. They were clearly archons represented in the show. They would come and they would change, you know. And another really good movie is Pleasantville. That was a good movie. That was a good movie. So, in closing, I'm trying to think of anything I would have left out because I blotched the other one. Is it possible for us to go through some kind of wormhole and end up in an alternative future that's way better? Oh, that's what I was going to say. So Philip K. Dick was a Gnostic writer, a Christian Gnostic writer. He had a vision of the future of America, and he wrote it in a story, Tears My Policeman Said, or something like that. I forget it's a very weird title. And in the book, America is a police state. He saw an alternative Earth reality. Look at it today. Look at it today. He was spot on. Anyways, the guy was a god. There's an interview, you can find it on the internet. The internet's pretty scrubbed now. Pretty scrubbed clean. Same with YouTube. You fool me, tube. It has him in a press conference, and he's there with his wife. His wife's in the audience, and he announces in the press conference that he is convinced that the world is a simulation. It's a dream world. It doesn't exist. It's a holographic reality. In fact, he said it's a computer-generated dream world, basically. He said it's run by computers. But in 1972, what could computers do? They couldn't do much. Yeah, maybe they'd have an adding machine on it, or an adding program, a writing program, maybe a little art, little doodle. They didn't do bugger all. Let's face it, they weren't capable of doing bugger all because they had very little processing, very little memory. You know the deal. 1972, and he announced that this reality is created by a computer system. Well, I felt bad for his wife because his wife's in the audience and she's just, she's so embarrassed and humiliated. I felt bad for her. But he stuck to his guns and read his books because they're reality. This is Gnostic reality. And the Gnostics taught that this is all a simulation. And the word they used for simulation was HAL. Remember HAL from 2001 Space Odyssey? HAL. He was way ahead of his time. Anyways, he was a Christian Gnostic for sure, because he talked like one, he looked like one, he acted like one, so I guess he was one. But this is 1972, and he said this is a generated dream world. And Roger Ebert, before he died, said this is all fake. This is all a deception. How did he describe it? He said it was all fake. It's none of this is real. This reality is not real. And there's a show, YouTube channel. What is it called? I can never remember the name. Conscious Research. Forever Conscious Research. You need to go to that channel and really listen and keep your ears open. You want reality, you're going to get it. It's all about life after death. He challenges the idea that you go to heaven and then you see God, and then here comes Jesus. Come on, come on. He questions all that because he puts all these after-death experiences, near-death experiences, he puts them, and he plays them, and then he interjects and he gives you his opinions. And he's so stinking smart. It's like, wow, I feel like a dummy when I listen to that show. And he's very, very intelligent. And he'll point things out, and you go, yeah, wait a minute, that was weird. They give their stories to these people that have been on the other side and come back. They give their stories of what happened. And they all, not, why would I say that? Not all of them, obviously. But there's a good majority of them that when they leave their bodies, they go, this reality, Earth reality wasn't real. It wasn't real. It's some kind of video game or something. They say this very, very clearly. It's some kind of simulation or hologram or something. But the afterworld is completely real. It's far more real than they ever imagined it would ever be. But they always come away with this feeling of, oh, it's a simulation. It's a video game or something, you know. And so, yeah, but I mean, you know, but then he describes how the archons get a hold of you, and then they try to convince you to go back because they need your loosh. Okay, they need your loosh. They need to milk you like a cow. So they try to convince you to go back, go and reincarnate, and make it up to that woman you were really mean to or so. They always show you your life, eh? And they say, oh, you know, they're looking for things that will bring about guilt and remorse and sadness so that you'll go back. Oh, remember this old lady, she asked you for a ride. What's it called? The life display or something. Anyways, remember the old lady? She wanted you to help her cross the road? And she can't see very good. She doesn't see very properly. Well, guess what? She went across. You refused. She went across on her own. She was killed by a car at the crosswalk. And then you go, oh my God, no, I didn't do that. I didn't want to do that. And well, you know, we suggest you go back. You go back and reincarnate on that maggot infested world. You go back, but they wipe your memory. So I'm not sure how much memory, but you got to remember, don't go to the light. You go to God. You go to the Father God, not the Jewish God of wrath, vengeance, and war, and will be screaming at you, thou shalt not. You go to the Father that Jesus prayed to, Father in heaven, you know. And don't let the archons convince you to go back because they're losing all their negative energy feed. When you're on Earth and when you're suffering, they feed real well because they love the lower energies. Don't go back. Don't go back. But they convince you. They fill you with guilt, remorse, sadness. Oh, yeah, that little old lady, I killed her. Well, she's now reincarnated as Mrs. Brown. So you go back and reincarnate in somebody close to her so that you can make it up to her and help her with her new life. Okay, I'm going back. And it's all a deception. There's a good site called trickedbythelight.com. Check that out. Check that out. Everything is a con job. Everything is fake and phony. They're talking about nuclear war in Russia. I had to laugh. I said, there's going to be no more. There's not going to be a nuclear war started by Russia. I told people that, and they just cursed me. They cursed me up and down. You effing son of a, you know. And I just said, no, there's going to be no Russian nuclear war because nuclear bombs don't even exist. And there's some good evidence, but it's been scrubbed from the internet and scrubbed from YouTube's. If you like a video, download it. Absolutely download it, because it will disappear. And so I just laughed and said, because everything is a lie. Everything. And then they say, well, you're anti-Semitic. You know, that's their answer for everything. You're anti-Semitic or you're racist. Take your pick, or you can have two of them at once. No matter what you say about any subject, you know, well, you're a racist. This is what the communists came up with, words to shut you down with. Like the F word, it just shuts you down. Like, oh, really? You explain to somebody for like 20 minutes? Really? F off. And they win the argument. They walk away like, I told that guy where to go. It's words created to, and racism was created by Trotsky in Russia, and it was used to downplay people that talked about communism as being racist. But so everything is a lie. Everything, and I do mean everything. Doesn't matter how small it is, because if you got this amount of truth, and you find another piece of, well, you're getting the bigger picture. They don't like that, so they conjure up. They make up. I'm not even convinced atoms exist. I really highly suspect atoms do not exist. And when they came up with the idea of nuclear energy, most scientists laughed. They just thought it was the most ridiculous thing they'd ever heard of, because there's no such thing as a nuclear atom. And if you study how they discovered it and everything, they came up with thousands of theories. Oh, well, an atom is this and that with a proton. Hey, we discovered everything was 1,000% correct. Just like the moon landing. All the theories and all the new math and everything was just all made up of theories, and every theory was just dead on. They had to decide how much fission to have for a nuclear bomb. Some said this much, and some said this much. Oh no, this much, the universe will be destroyed this much. It may not go off. But they theorized, they had theories, oh, it's this much. And it was exactly right, spot on. And so were the other thousands of theories, hundreds and hundreds of theories, I should say, that they came up with to produce the bomb. That dog don't hunt. Yeah. That dog don't hunt. So anyways, everything is, so you know nothing. They've erased the history. And every time a reality shift blows through, everything is changed in the past. There's changes in the pyramid, the Great Pyramid. There's changes. Look that up. There's changes that were not there before. But then there are people that, even though, well, no, they don't get the artificial memories. They get the artificial memories, but they don't stick. And I've never been fooled by Mandela, And there's people that were. They said that Elvis just died last year, and there's people that they have memories that don't really, it's like the two people in the mansion that were poor people. Suddenly everything's different, and I don't know, I've been meaning to stop. It must be overtime now, so can't really see. So there you go. I really wanted to share this with you for a long time. So if something comes into existence because you've slipped into a parallel universe, it will have history. Pictures will be altered. Maybe when I talked about the Red House, it was on, maybe in the past, the original shift It was in the paper and they tried to sell it for years, and you have a memory. Oh, yeah, they were trying to sell that empty lot for years. No, it doesn't exist. You look up old real estate information for your where you live, and that lot has always had a red house there. It was never for sale. It was never vacant, and you can't prove it because all the pictures are altered. Another good film is Back to the Future. That'll explain a little bit of how this works. Not too a great deal, but excellent film. Best film. Oh, excellent film. Vanilla Sky. Oh, is that? You're gonna like that. So, Dark City, Vanilla Sky, 13th Floor was amazing about the simulated world. 13th Floor. There's others I can't think of right now. 13th Floor. Vanilla Sky was excellent. It's just excellent. There's so much to it. You have to watch it several times. All these movies you have to watch several times. And of course, The Matrix. The Matrix was just unbelievably full of esoteric, revealing stuff that's always never talked about. It was full of it. They're educating us. The ones in the white hats are educating us. They don't really care about our physical ailments or illness or disease. They don't care about that. This is what I observed. Okay, I'm wrapping this up right now. They don't care about that. They care about your consciousness. They're trying to raise your consciousness. And I think because they know this cycle's ending, all mankind must be destroyed. So, in order to build a new house, the age of Aquarius, age of Aquarius. Have you had your booster shots? Age of Aquarius. In order to build a new house, you have to tear down the old house. You know what I mean? So I don't think the future's that bright. That's if that scenario is true. But I have a feeling that each age of the what do they call the yugas, the cycles. Each cycle goes into a complete reality shift in the multi-universe. And each one has its own distinctive characteristics. The one we're in is low energy, the lowest energy one could ever exist in. And you can see that everywhere. So there you go. I thought I'd share this. I got a few more, maybe 2, 3 more I want to share. And I wanted to get out there, but I haven't been feeling like that because I'm checked into Blue Hotel, See, in an alternative universe, there was no Elvis Presley. The National Socialists won World War II. It's like that show Sliders. That was very interesting show. And they tried to fix these problems to make it more like which is kind of, why would you want to do that? Earth. So they would slide into. Speaking of slide, just wrapping this up right now. We slide all the time. We slide maybe several times, maybe a dozen, maybe 2 dozen, 3 dozen times a day. You've got to learn to observe, you know what I mean? And you'll see things, and you'll kind of, what? Just in simple things, like little simple things. Have a cup of coffee, you put it down because you got to answer the phone. Where's my phone? It's charging. Oh, yeah. Oh, so-and-so. Go back to your coffee and it's empty. Now you've slidden into an alternative Earth reality. Let me know what you think. I get Mrs. Stargods to read the comments, so I'm up on the comments. And some of you people are just... you're just beautiful people and smart too. I notice the people that follow me are smart. They're not like, oh look, there's Flipper the seal. Yay. So there you go. Take care. Please observe everything, and I'll too close to the light. Yeah, I'll let you know when it's all over with, and I. Okay, shut up. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.